So in the last class, we've seen this. We started decision-making statements. So we have also seen if-else statement. So have you written that example, so which I gave you in the last class? Hello.
Hello.
Okay. So we are discussing this decision-making statements. So decision-making statements is for the purpose of to change the order of your executing statements. So when you want to execute a different set of statements, if a certain condition satisfies, otherwise I'll do a other set of statements. So in that case, I'll do this decision making. I'll use these decision making statements. Okay. So we have different forms of decision making. That is if else, nested if else statement, and else if later. So already we have seen few examples on if else statement. So today we'll see what is the syntax for nested if else and how it executes. So how to use a nested if else in a program. And what is the actual difference between writing, so when to write if else and when to write nested if else? So actually we'll choose this if else statement when it is when it is a two-way selection statement. That means if else statement can be written only if the choices you have are only two. The choices you have are only two. That means out of those two, you want to pick one. Let us say even or odd number. So there are two possibilities. What are those two? Either it may be even or odd. So which number is greater than? Either A or B. Whether the number is a positive number or negative number. Two possibilities. Whether the given year is a leap year or a non-leap year. Two possibilities. So in these kind of situations, you can go with this if else. That means you are going to choose one among the two possibilities. You are going to choose one among the two possibilities. So in such a situation, I can go for if else. So in what situations I can go with this nested if else statement or else if later? I'll call it as multi-way. I'll call it as multi-way statement. So what is this multi-way statement is? When you have more than two possibilities. It may be any. It may be any number. If you have more than two possibilities, in that kind of situation, I can go with this nested if else statement. You can say 3, you can say 4, you can say 10, you can say any. More than two, I'll consider it as a multi-way selection. So multi-way selection can be done with the help of either a nested if else statement or else if later. I can choose any one of them. Okay, so when in there also will I'll tell you, so in what situations you can go for a nested if else and what situations you can go for else if later or later. Okay, when it is a multi-way selection, I'll go with this any of these two. When it is a two-way selection statement, I'll go with if else. So if you observe the previous examples we discussed, we return with if else are only two possibilities we have. I have to choose. I don't have an option. I have to choose one among those two only. So the numbers are classified either even or odd. That's it. Biggest among two numbers, it may be either A or B. Okay, in that kind of situations, I'll go with if else. So now we'll see what is the syntax of this nested if else statement, and we'll see how to use it in the program. Okay, so this is the syntax. So this is how we'll write. So first I'll tell you what is nested if else means. Writing if statement inside one if statement is called as nested. Nested is simply nothing but writing a block inside a block. That is called as nested if else. See, this is your block. This is your if block. Writing an if else block inside this if block is called as nested. Writing a if else block or if block inside one block is called as nested if. Simple nested means writing a block inside a block. So within this block, I'm writing one more block. So that is if and this is else block. Again, I have an else block here. So inside this else block, again, I have one more if else. So writing this if else inside if else is called as nested if else. In very simple note. Okay, so now we'll see how this if else will nested if else will execute. So the pattern of the basic pattern of if else will not change. Okay, so what is the basic pattern of if else? The basic pattern is if the condition satisfies, if your test expression, your condition, it satisfies, then it will execute the true block. If that doesn't satisfies, it will execute the false block. Okay.
So I didn't understand.
Yes, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Right. The basic concept of if else is if a test expression satisfies, then it will execute the true block. If the test expression fails, that means if it is false, it will execute the else block. Okay, so that is the basic of if else. So now we'll see how this nested if else will execute. So in this nested if else, so first what it will do is, first it verifies this condition 1. First it verifies the condition 1. So condition 1 may be true or false. The condition 1 may be true or false. Right. So what we'll do if it is true and what we'll do if it is false. If this test condition 1 is true, I will execute the statements that are written in the, this is my true block, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I'll be executing the statements that are written in the true block. If the condition 1 is false, I'll execute the statements which are written in the false block or else block. So you clear up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. For some time, let us assume our condition 1 is true. Our condition 1 is true. So it is going to execute the statements which are in the true block. So once if it enters into the true block, then here again I'll be verifying one more test condition, which is condition 2. Which is condition 2. Here when the test condition 1 is true, it will not touch the statements which are in the else block. That means that I have written in the black color box. So the statements in the black color box will not be touched. It will only execute the statements which are in that red color or say pink color box. Okay, so when it is executing that statements in the true block, it will verify for the condition 2. That is your next test expression. It will verify that test expression. So what happens to this test expression? Again, it may be true or it may be false. Right? Again, that test condition may be true or false. So what we'll do if that condition is true and if it is false? If that test condition is true, it is going to execute the statements which are in this true block. When now I'm talking about the test condition 2. If it is false, that means if test condition 2 is false, I'm going to execute the statements which are in this else block. So got it? So this is all when the test condition 1 is true. When the test condition 1 is true. Suppose if test condition 1 is false. If test condition 1 is false, it will go and execute the statements in that else block. So what it will do in the else block? Again, it will verify this condition, which is test condition 3. Again, it may be true or it may be false. If your test condition 3 is true, it will execute the statements in this if block. If this is false, it will execute the statements in this else block. So this is how it executes. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So now I'll show you the flowchart so you can understand a bit clear. If you have any confusion, so you can get clarity when you see this. See, this is your test condition 1. If this test condition 1 is true, I'm going to execute this body of if. Body of if. If test condition 1 is false, I'm going to execute the body of else block. So inside this true block, I have one more test condition. What is that? Test condition 2. So what I'm doing with test condition 2, it may be again true or false. If it is true, I am going to execute the body of this nested if. That means the if block inside the if block. If this test condition 2 is false, I am going to the body else. So this else is written inside the first if. That is inside the body of if. So this is all the story when this test condition 1 is true. What happens when your test condition 1 is false? I am going to execute the body of my else block. So what I have inside this else block? I have a test condition 3. That means I have one more condition is there here. So it verifies this test condition 3. If test condition 3 is true, it will execute the body of this nested if. So this if is written inside the else block. When this test condition 3 is false, it will execute the body of nested else. So this else block is written inside the body of else block. Okay. Either it will execute a true statements or it will execute the false statements. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now, as this clear means, I'll explain you with an example program.
Yes, sir. I want to see the
Yes.
example.
Now we'll see. I have a problem of finding out the largest number among 3 numbers. Largest number among 3 numbers. Let us say my 3 numbers are A, B, and C. Okay, so I need to find out who is largest among these 3. Okay, see, we'll write it. So I'm starting with include stdio.h. Writing my main function. Inside my main, I have first of all I have to declare the variables. So what variables I use here? A, B, and C. A, B, C, and C are my inputs. I have to take input from the user. The printf enter 3 numbers.
The wrong spelling number.
Okay. So scanf. So I have to read 3 integers. So 3 format specifiers. I'll say ampersand A, ampersand B, ampersand C. I have taken input for these 3 numbers. So now I will start verifying. So who is biggest or who is largest? So I'm starting my verification process. So first what I'll do is, so first of all I'll try to check for 2 numbers. Let us say A and B. First of all I'll verify who is biggest among A and B. I'll get either A or B, right? If I'll get A, I'll compare with A and C. If I'll get B, I'll compare between B and C. So suppose if A is, let us assume A is the biggest among AB. Now I'll compare with A and C. So now with this comparison, I'll get who is biggest, either A or either C. Suppose if B is biggest, now I'll compare B with C. So now out of these two, I'll try to find out who is biggest, either B or C. Okay, so this is how I'll do. So first of all, I'm comparing with A and B. So how I'll compare if A value is greater than B. So this is my true block. So what is the meaning of this true block? A greater than B.
Yeah.
What is meaning of A greater than B? A is
Bigger
having
than B.
the bigger value than B, right?
Yes, sir.
So that means B is not biggest when you are comparing with A. When B is not biggest when you compare with A, so there is no possibility for B. So there is only possibility for A, right? If B is not greater than A, so the comparison now is in between A and C, not B. So here what I'll do is I'll consider A and C. I'll verify whether the value of A is greater than C or not. If A greater than B satisfies and A greater than C also satisfies, what does it mean?
A is the biggest number.
A is the biggest number. I can simply display. Percentile D is
Bigger.
biggest number. So who is this percentile D here?
A.
A.
Value of A. Simple. Suppose if A greater than B is satisfied and A greater than C fails, then who is biggest?
A.
A greater than B satisfies and A greater than C fails.
C.
Yes, I'll say printf
Oh.
percentile D is biggest number. A is greater than B. So out of those two, A is bigger. When you comparing that bigger number with C, it is not satisfying. That means C is somewhat greater than A. So C is the biggest among those three. Okay. So this is all the story when the value of A is greater than B. When the value of A is greater than B. Suppose if A greater than B fails, what does it mean?
B is the bigger number.
B.
B is bigger. So now I have to compare B with
C.
C.
yes. So I'll go with this else case here. Inside this else case, I'll start comparing the value of B with C. So what it means if B is greater than C here?
B is the bigger number.
Already I have compared with A and B, and out of that comparison I got to know that B is the biggest. Now I'm comparing the biggest number with the C. If this biggest number is greater than C, that means
B is the bigger number.
B is the biggest number. If A greater than B fails and B greater than C is also fails.
A.
A greater than B fails.
C.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Who is biggest now?
C.
C.
Yes. Here C is a biggest number. So this is simple how you can write your nested if else. So you can give any of your three numbers. Okay. The biggest number may be in A or B or C. So wherever it may be, my target is to display that is the biggest number. It may be in A or it may be in B or it may be in C, wherever it may be. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You can take. Okay. I'll tell you one more example for this. So let us say I have a number. Okay. I have a number n. And now I want to find out whether this number is a positive number, this number is a negative number, or this number may be sometimes other than positive and negative, it may be equal to 0 also, right?
Yes, sir.
So I want to display. So when the user gives a number, I want to display. So what it is, a positive number or a negative number, or is the user given number is 0. So here I can't go with if else because I have three possibilities. Whenever user gives a number, there are three possibilities are there. So when there are three possibilities are there, I can't confine it with if else. That is not possible to solve these kind of problems or these kind of tasks with simple if else. So I have to go with a multi-way selection when I have more than two possibilities. There are more than two possible answers are there. Positive, negative, or 0. So see how we can write this. Okay, so I'll start with yesterday average void main. What variables you require? How many variables you require? What may be the type of those variables?
3.
See what you will do with three variables. What is the purpose of using? What is the purpose of those three variables you take?
We'll find out whether the variables are
Negative,
negative,
positive, 0.
positive or equal to 0.
Yes. How many numbers you require to check whether the given number
1.
is positive?
1.
Yeah, one number is enough, right? So what is the point of taking 3? I'll be giving you one number and I'm asking you to decide whether that number is positive, negative, or 0. So how many inputs you require?
One.
One number is enough. I'll say it as number, NUM. Okay, so I'll say, so printf enter any number. Scanf, so I'm reading that number. So I'll say percentile D ampersand number. Okay. So first I'll be verifying. So here I'll start verifying. So how can I decide whether that number is equal to 0? How can I decide that number is equal to 0? Hello.
Hello.
So how can I say that number is equal to 0? So can I write like this? If the
Number is equal to 0.
if the number is equal to 0, that means printf the given number is 0, right? The given number is 0. If the number is not equal to 0, that means
Maybe positive or negative.
maybe positive or negative, exactly. So here I have to verify whether that is a positive or negative. So inside my else case, I'll be writing this. Else if is if the number is greater than 0. Greater than 0 means
Positive.
I'll say the given number is positive number. Otherwise,
The given number is negative.
Negative.
simple. So here that is what I want to tell you is, so you can write this nested inside if or inside else. So it is not mandatory to write in both the cases. Either you can write in the if block or you can write in the else block. The same can be modified in a different way. If I have taken the condition like if in this main if I have taken the condition like if number is not equal to 0, if the number is not equal to 0, so that means when it is not 0, so inside the if I can write that if else, and inside the else I can simply go with the number is 0. The same program, so it can be written like that as well. Okay. See, it is asking to enter any number. I'll say minus 54. Given number is negative.
Hmm.
It is giving for all the cases. If I give 0, given number is 0. So got this or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So this is the syntax, and this is your what to say examples. So okay, so you can write nested if else for finding out the largest among we have written for 3 numbers, so you can write for 4 numbers.
So what do you tell now?
You can find out the largest among 4 numbers or 5 numbers.
Should
Okay, so you can you try for one example? I'll say
so now, sir.
yes.
Okay, sir.
So not the program. So I'll simply you can give. So I have 2 numbers A and B. So you need to find out whether these 2 numbers. So is the first number is less than the second, or first number is greater than the second, or both are equal. So you need to just find out the which relational operator you can use, either less than or greater than, or are they equal. So
Equal.
you have to use any one of those 3.
Equal.
So you are given with the 2 numbers. Okay. So you have to apply any one of these relational operators among them, among those 2 variables. Either if A is less than B, or A is greater than B, or A is equal to B.
Less than.
Less than? How can you blindly say less than? I have not even given you values.
I thought.
So after taking some values, I'm asking you to print. Okay, for these set of values, A is greater than B. For this set of values, A is less than B. So like that, you have to print. So you got my point or not?
Sir.
Okay, so you just try for this example. Okay, so I'll just tell you some. So there are few disadvantages in writing this nested if else, and with that I'll stop. And to overcome the disadvantages, so we have that else if later we have. So I'll just tell you the disadvantages of this, and I'll stop for today. Okay. So what is the disadvantages? What is the limitation for writing this if else? Sorry, nested if else. So nested if else, the disadvantage is you can write any number of blocks inside a block. Any number of blocks you can write. So that means here again I can write one more if else. Here I can write one more if else. Inside this if again I can write one more if else. This everything is actually allowed. But the thing is, when you write more than 2 nested if statements inside a block, the complexity of your program will get increases. So I told you, you try for finding out the largest for 4 numbers. You take A, B, C, and D, and you try to find out the largest among 4 numbers. So you can do for 4, but you try for 5 numbers, you try for 6 numbers. Everything is possible, So there is no question like it is not possible to write for biggest among 5 or 6 numbers with nested if else. It is possible, but the thing is, the complexity of your logic is also increases. It is very complicated to analyze. You can write the program, but it is very, very complicated. So if
Okay, sir. No. Bye. Sir.